2022 Husqvarna FE501. I can't say enough about the bike. I said that in the last video. Pretty amazing bike. It went on an adventure. You may have seen a little bit of the pictures I put before I started the video. Make sure you check out Jackson's channel. He's got more to come. I think he had an awesome adventure. Love hearing him talk about it. Wish I would have been there. But he was supposed to go on his DRZ. 20 miles down the road, he calls me and says, hey, it stopped working. I still haven't diagnosed it. Went over the basics. It's getting spark, it's getting fuel. Don't know what's wrong. I'll dig into it. I'll pull the engine. Start looking at what, maybe something, compression, who knows. We'll see. But let's go over the damage that happened 26 to 2,700 miles later on his big adventure he did. I'm not upset. It was used for what it was intended to be, and if he wouldn't have done it, I would have done it myself. So you can see that a little bit of rubbing from the Moto Reckless 40 that he had mounted. It rubbed it enough to where this actually pushed against the exhaust and melted. Looked at it, it was a common problem. Looked online, checked out a few forums, and you know, a lot of people just cut it back. That's what I did. I just cut it back. I still got to get some of the remnants off the exhaust. I don't want that to melt any further. Well, I'll just scrub it. If not, it is what it is. The rack, awesome rack. Did a great job. He even had the what is it called? Rotopacks. Had a 1 gallon Rotopacks mounted here with the Reckless 40 on top of that, and he said it was great. The only other thing he did was he broke this mirror. I've already replaced the mirror. Simple, just pop it out, get rid of some of the caulking that was behind it, put a new one in. I still got to do the upgrade, still got to do a new tank, skid plate, bigger oil vat, so that I can have longer periods of time between oil changes. I think he did 3 oil changes on his trip. I've got to do another one now. Really easy job, especially to be able to do it on the road. He said he loved the what is this called again? Manic Rally Tower. Now, I know I called it a Manic Moto in the last video. It's a Manic Rally Tower. I also said that I wasn't going to say so much. I'm trying, I'm working on that. I did take off the mounts that were on there before, and now I have the Trail Tech Voyager Pros mounted on there. I used this on a Wyoming BDR last year, and I loved it. Did really awesome, especially following the GPS tracks to make sure that I'm not, you know, getting off the trail or whatever. I've got a ball mounted here, so I'll mount the phone here. That will have dual, and then USB from there. Just a great bike. Can't say enough about it. Same kind of rubbing on the other side, by the way. I've got to get all this Wyoming mud taken off of this. I did do a preliminary bath, but as you can see, there's still quite a bit. We will get to an oil change. If you haven't done one of these, you are in for a treat because it's super, super, super easy. Stick around. I'll show you what it's like. Okay, oil change. We're just going to do an oil change. We're not going to change out the screen. All we're going to do is an oil change and the filter. So looking at this, obviously it's pretty dirty. I want to get the oil changed. I'm also going to be changing this. I went into Takamoto and got that Belvedere type washer that I'm going to stick on here. This chain seems to be binding a little bit, so I need to oil that up. It may need a new chain. I'll take a look at that once I get everything apart. But for right now, I just wanted to change the oil. So you got 2 screws here. I think you can see that. So this screw here is the one that's going to have the screen behind it, and this screw here is the one that you're going to change the oil on. By the way, I laid the bike down on the right side. I almost said passenger side. On the right side, that prevents any oil from coming out. You'll need a 13 millimeter wrench or a socket. to get that one off, and then some kind of drain. So Jackson, when he was on his trip, picked this one up. It's a really cheap version. He said that he actually had a problem with the hose coming off as he was tipping the bike back up. So I stuck a zip tie on here just to keep the hose from coming off. I don't know if it's going to help this side though. The plug may come out as I'm tipping it up. We'll see. We're going to give it a try. First time I've used this one. I had plans on buying a really nice one. I didn't buy it before his trip because I didn't know he was taking this bike on the trip. So, loosen up the bolts, pull it out. Let's take a look and see if we can find any metal shavings on the magnet. Feels like oil. We'll set that aside. And we'll stick this in. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. So I put that zip tie on there, and now I can't turn it on because of the zip tie. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off, put a smaller zip tie and see if that'll work. So I took the larger zip tie off, put a smaller one on. We'll see if this clears the frame as I'm turning it on. It still hits, but at least I can push it past. The other one was just too big. And then once you get it low enough, it doesn't interfere with the frame anymore. Man, that's dirty. Okay, we'll lift it up, pull this plug, let the oil drain out, and go from there. Stood the bike up, and as you can see, the oil started draining towards the end. I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug now, and we'll get that oil out of there. So right here towards the end, where I think I've got it drained, I'll stick that plug back in and see how much buildup I'll have of more oil. And that gives you kind of a good indication if you got it all, if there's still a lot more draining. Obviously you can see that that one's still building up pretty good, so I just need to let it sit here and drain for a few. Got the oil drained. Now I'm going to turn this drain tube off and get the plug back in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to change the filter. You'll need an 8mm socket or a Torx head. Those bolts have a Torx head on the inside, and then they're 8mm on the outside. So I buy the oil change kit, and the oil change kit comes with the filter. It comes with a new, what do you call these? Drain plug copper washer. We'll go with that, for lack of a better term. So I gotta replace the copper washer, that way I don't have any leakage from that drain plug. I'm sure there's a torque spec to this. Okay, stators behind here. Oil filter. By the way, I didn't say this. I learned this from watching some other people on YouTube. But I think my father actually taught it to me when I was younger. I probably just forgot about it. But I ran the bike, took a ride, came back. Everything's still pretty warm. That way I'm getting most of the oil out. It's not coagulating on the sides of the vat that it's sitting in currently. Okay, we got some snap ring pliers. Stick those in here. Just press it enough to get a hold of it. Take out your filter. I'm going to go ahead and clean as much oil out of the cavity as I can. Okay, I've seen two ways of doing this. I've seen people pour oil in the filter before they put it in. I am definitely going to get some oil on my fingers and lube up this rubber O-ring. But if you read the manual says to pour oil in the sump. And then I might research why people do it the other way. Filled it nearly 3/4. I'm putting the oil filter in slow because I don't want to force oil back out. So 3/4 full did bring oil up, and it's on top of the filter, but it did not overflow. So that's a good thing. I'm going to check the O-ring on the cover. That looks good. So we'll get everything put back together. Okay, oil filter's changed. Oil has been drained. Plug's been put back in with a new copper washer. It's time to stand the bike back up and fill it with oil. All right, I didn't show you the oil fill process. You guys should probably know that by now. Basically, take off the cap, fill it with oil. So one of the things that I like to do is I buy the kit, as you can see from that box down there. So it's a Husqvarna kit. It's got the oil in it. It's got the 1.2 liters of oil. It comes with the filter, and it comes with the new copper washer for the drain plug. Pretty easy to not go wrong. You got to put all three of those things in. And as you can see by the oil window, it is halfway. And I know that was crooked, but sorry. I do have, some people have asked me about this lift. So I do have a motorcycle lift. Currently it has a 1977 SX650 on it that I'm gonna start to rebuild. So I always need something else, and you know, those motocross stands are nice, but this, I can lift it up to this height and I can sit on a chair and work on the bike. I'll throw a link to that up in the top. Basically Harbor Freight. It's a Harbor Freight lift, and cheap and expensive, nice to have around. Stick your lawnmower on it, stick whatever, snowblower. I've stuck that up there and worked on it. I had my KTM 950 Adventure on top of that. It has plenty of throw to get it up off the ground, and it balances fine. You can work on it. Future me coming back in to let you know that you need that beep to tell you when your battery's out. So got that done. Got the oil change done, did a couple other things. Just me coming back and telling you that everything was successful. Want to shout out to everybody who watches these videos, and thank you very much, appreciate it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you want, totally up to you. Keep an eye out for Jackson's next video. I believe it's coming out soon, episode 2. Shout out to my wife, she's loving the fact that I shaved. InsideThePixels.smugmug.com. She does some photos, so if you need something done, shameless plug for her, check it out. Anyway, big plans coming up. Went on a trip up to Ridgeway, Colorado for the Dusty Lizard, and had a good time. Did some riding, met some people, had some good barbecue, had some good food, listened to some good music, drank a few brews. Awesome time. Big trip coming up, so I'll probably be doing a build out of what I've done to the truck. I'm heading down to Mexico, taking it all highway on the 501. It's going to be interesting. Taking some decent tires, change them out when I get down to Tucson, and then I'm hitting the Arizona BDR going north. I'm going to hit Grand Canyon, meet up with the wife, and do some sightseeing, and then heading home. Anyway, stay tuned, more videos to come. Talk to you soon.